The Galactic Council's chambers, an awe-inspiring assembly of ancient architecture and advanced technology, buzzed with tension. Representatives from every major species in the galaxy, from the amphibious Vrelkar to the crystalline Solrith, had gathered in response to an emergency of unprecedented scale. A looming threat, unlike anything the galaxy had faced in millennia, now demanded their immediate attention. Turkin, the infamous alien warlord, had turned his attention to a small, seemingly insignificant world, Earth. Known for his ruthless campaigns of conquest, Turkin's empire stretched across star systems, leaving devastation in its wake. His ambition knew no bounds, and his latest target was a planet many in the Council regarded as an afterthought. Yet, to some, Earth held far greater significance than its size or status suggested. Though Earth's inhabitants had only recently ventured onto the galactic stage, humanity's presence had not gone unnoticed. In their brief time among the stars, humans had demonstrated a resilience and adaptability that few other species could match. Despite their technological inferiority, they had shown an uncanny ability to overcome challenges, both on their homeworld and beyond. The Council recognized this potential, but they also understood the precarious situation. If Turkin attacked Earth, it could destabilize the entire region of space, drawing allies and enemies into a conflict that might engulf the galaxy. The chamber's holographic displays projected the image of Turkin's fortress-like capital world, Tehran, alongside real-time footage of his growing fleet. Massive warships, bristling with alien weaponry, were assembling near the edges of his territory, their trajectories unmistakably aimed at Earth. Murmurs rippled through the Council as they watched the fleet's preparations, a visual representation of the storm to come. It's what everybody was watching, was the storm to come. It's what the outpost crew absorbed in the water, a lifeline to their homeworld. Tehran was a holographic description of his growing fleet. Massive warships bristling with alien weaponry were assembling near the edges of his territory, their trajectories unmistakably aimed at Earth. Murmurs rippled through the Council as they watched the fleet's preparations, a visual representation of the storm to come. Counselor Victra, a veteran diplomat with centuries of experience, rose to address the assembly. Her voice, calm yet resolute, carried an air of authority. Colleagues, we face a critical moment. Humanity, though young and untested, is unlike any species we have encountered. Their creativity and determination could serve as a beacon of hope, or as the spark of chaos if their world falls to Turkin. She paused, allowing her words to sink in. The room fell silent save for the faint hum of the holographic projectors. Turkin underestimates Earth, as he has underestimated others before, yet his arrogance has grown. If we do not act, his next conquest will set a dangerous precedent. The debate that followed was fierce. Some argued that Earth, an underdeveloped world, was not worth risking a galactic conflict. Others countered that allowing Turkin to continue unchecked would only embolden him further. Ultimately, the Council reached a unanimous decision. A delegation would be sent to Tehran to deliver a warning. Earth was not to be touched. Leading the delegation was Counselor Vrax, a figure renowned for his negotiation skills and unshakable resolve. A veteran of countless diplomatic missions, Vrax understood the gravity of their task. As he stood in the Council chambers, watching the preparations for their departure, he couldn't shake a sense of unease. Turkin's recent victories had emboldened him, and his empire now spanned more systems than ever before. He couldn't say it was because they were two peoples to battle, but they had underscored diplomacy Vrax feared might no longer be enough. The delegation's journey to Tehran was fraught with tension. The ship's crew, a mix of diplomats and military advisors, worked in hushed tones as they prepared for the upcoming confrontation. Vrax spent hours reviewing Turkin's psychological profile, studying his patterns and decisions. The Warlord's rise to power was marked by cunning strategies and an unrelenting pursuit of dominance. He ruled with an iron fist, commanding loyalty through fear and crushing any opposition with overwhelming force. Upon arriving at Tehran, the delegation was immediately struck by the planet's ominous atmosphere. The sky, tinged with an unnatural crimson hue, seemed to reflect the bloodshed that had secured Turkin's empire. The Warlord's fortress, a towering structure of blackened metal and alien stone, dominated the skyline. Its jagged spires pierced the heavens, casting long shadows over the capital city below. As the delegation's shuttle landed, they were met by a squad of heavily armed soldiers. Their armor, sleek and menacing, shimmered with an otherworldly sheen, and their weapons pulsed with alien energy. The soldiers' faces were obscured by impenetrable helmets, leaving only a sense of cold, unyielding authority. Inside the fortress, the delegation was led through cavernous halls adorned with trophies from Turkin's conquests. Mounted weapons, banners of fallen empires, and relics from obliterated civilizations lined the walls. Each artifact was a testament to Turkin's brutality, a reminder of the fate that awaited those who dared oppose him. Finally, they reached the throne room. The chamber was vast, its ceiling soaring high above. At its center sat Turkin, his massive throne carved from the bones of an extinct species. The warlord himself was an imposing figure, towering over the delegation. His armor, blackened and scarred from countless battles, seemed to absorb the light around him. His piercing yellow eyes locked onto Vrax as the counselor stepped forward. Turkin's voice, low and menacing, reverberated through the chamber. "You come to deliver another plea for peace, counselor? Spare me your weakness." Vrax steadied himself, meeting Turkin's gaze. "Warlord Turkin, we come not with pleas, but with warnings. Earth is not a target you should pursue. Humanity is resilient, unpredictable, and capable of disrupting the delicate balance of power within the galaxy." Turkin scoffed, his lips curling into a cruel smile. "Humans, a primitive species barely capable of space travel? You insult me by suggesting they are a threat. They are unlike any species you have encountered," Vrax countered. "Their adaptability and ingenuity have allowed them to overcome challenges that would have destroyed others. An attack on Earth will not end as you expect." The warlord leaned forward, his eyes narrowing. "I have crushed every species that has dared defy me. Earth will be no different." Vrax's voice remained steady. "You may succeed in attacking Earth, but the cost will be far greater than you realize. Humanity has allies, some within this very council, who will not stand by while you threaten their world." Turkin's laughter echoed through the chamber, a chilling sound that sent shivers down the spines of the delegation. "Allies? Weak bureaucrats and cowards? They will fall just as easily." The meeting ended in failure. As the delegation departed, Vrax sent an encrypted message to the council. "Turkin will not be swayed. Prepare for war." Back on Earth, the news of Turkin's impending invasion spread quickly. Humanity's leaders convened in secret, scrambling to devise a plan. General Alice Munro, one of Earth's foremost strategists, addressed the assembly. "We've faced impossible odds before," she said, her voice firm. "We survived global wars, ecological disasters, and rebuilt after every crisis. This will be no different. We're going to show them what humanity is made of." Earth's military and scientific communities worked tirelessly, developing new technologies and strategies to counter Turkin's forces. Orbital defense platforms armed with railguns and EMPs were positioned strategically, while ground forces prepared for guerrilla warfare. Civilians joined the effort, building barricades and crafting makeshift weapons. Humanity's greatest strength, its creativity and determination, was on full display. Although the stake hung over Turkin's forces, creativity and determination was on full display. As Turkin's fleet approached, a sense of unity and resolve swept across the planet. General Munro, standing in the central command bunker, issued the order. "All units, initiate Phase 1. The battle for Earth had begun." On the ground, General Munro stood amidst the chaos of a battlefield that had become the last stand of humanity. The Earth trembled beneath her feet, the vibrations of alien machinery reverberating through the soil. The air was heavy with the acrid stench of smoke and ozone, and the distant horizon burned with the fires of war. Yet, amidst the chaos, there was a shift, a glimmer of hope. Humanity's forces, bolstered by unyielding resilience and strategic ingenuity, were turning the tide. Monroe watched the unfolding scene from the elevated command post, her eyes scanning the holographic displays flickering before her. Each screen told a different story: advancing infantry units overwhelming alien positions, aerial squadrons engaging enemy crafts, and heavy artillery pounding the invaders into retreat. Yet despite these victories, a gnawing unease gripped her. The battle was far from over. "Turkin hasn't made his move," she muttered, her voice low but carrying the weight of urgency. Her staff turned their attention to her, sensing the gravity in her tone. "He's watching, waiting. We need to force his hand. He's too strategic to sit idly by forever." Her thoughts raced, weaving through potential strategies. Turkin was no ordinary commander. His mastery lay in his ability to orchestrate his forces with unerring precision, turning even dire situations to his advantage. If they could disrupt his command structure and compel him to act personally, they might finally gain the upper hand. "Prepare the strike teams," she ordered, her voice cutting through the tension. "We're targeting the flagship. It's time to take this fight to him." The staff exchanged glances, their faces etched with determination and a flicker of fear. The plan was audacious, almost reckless. Yet, in the face of extinction, audacity was humanity's greatest weapon. As the remnants of Earth's armies regrouped, their resolve hardened by fleeting victories, a bold strategy took shape. Special forces units were rapidly mobilized, handpicked for their skill, bravery, and unshakable resolve. These elite teams were equipped with cutting-edge experimental technology, cloaking devices capable of rendering them invisible to most sensors, advanced tactical suits enhancing their physical capabilities, and weaponry designed to exploit weaknesses in alien armor. The target was Turkin's flagship, a colossal vessel that loomed ominously above Earth, casting long shadows over the ruins of its cities. The mission was clear: infiltrate the ship, disable the command center, and eliminate Turkin if possible. Success would decapitate the invasion force and plunge the enemy into disarray. Failure was not an option. Under the cover of darkness, the strike teams boarded sleek, agile crafts designed for stealth and speed. The craft's matte-thick exteriors absorbed light, rendering them nearly invisible as they ascended into the turbulent skies. Inside, the soldiers sat in tense silence, their faces illuminated by the faint glow of mission briefings displayed on their visors. Each of them understood the stakes. Many wouldn't return, but their sacrifice could mean survival for billions. As the crafts approached the flagship, the alien defenses came alive. Beams of energy and bursts of plasma lit up the night sky, a dazzling yet deadly display. The pilots, their hands steady on the controls, executed evasive maneuvers with precision, weaving through the chaos. One craft narrowly avoided a direct hit, the resulting shockwave rattling its hull and eliciting muffled curses from its occupants. "Hold tight," the pilot shouted as the craft veered sharply, angling toward a landing bay on the underbelly of the ship. "Brace for impact." The landing was rough, but the team wasted no time. As the ramp descended, Captain Rios led his squad into the alien stronghold. The air inside was cold and sterile, carrying a faint metallic tang. The corridors were dimly lit, their walls adorned with glowing symbols that pulsed rhythmically, as if the ship itself was alive. "Stay sharp," Rios ordered, his voice low but firm. "We're in enemy territory now." Resistance came quickly. Turkin's elite guards, towering figures clad in armor that seemed impervious to conventional weapons, emerged from the shadows. Their movements were swift and precise, their alien weapons unleashing devastating blasts. The humans responded with calculated efficiency, using their advanced suits to outmaneuver the enemy and their experimental weaponry to exploit chinks in the guards' defenses. Their quick warriors glanced back and forth between the two sides, their alien weapons converging on the guards' defenses. "Keep moving," Rios barked, his pulse rifle spitting bursts of energy that sent one guard crashing to the ground. "We're on a clock here." In his throne room, Turkin observed the battle through a holographic display, his expression unreadable. His clawed fingers drummed against the armrests of his ornate throne, the only sign of his growing impatience. "Prepare my personal guard," he commanded, his voice a low growl. Rising to his full height, his dark armor gleamed under the flickering light of the holograms. "If the humans wish to challenge me, I will grant them their audience." Back on Earth, General Monroe's command center buzzed with activity. Reports of the strike team's progress trickled in, each update heightening the tension. Monroe stood at the center, her hands clenched behind her back, her gaze fixed on the displays. "They're holding them off for now," an officer reported. "But Turkin's personal guard is on the move." Monroe nodded, her jaw tightening. "Tell Rios he needs to finish this. We won't get another chance." Deep within the flagship, Rios and his team approached a massive door, the entrance to the command center. The air was thick with tension, every step weighted by the knowledge of what lay beyond. "Set the charges," Rios ordered. His demolitions expert moved swiftly, placing the devices with practiced precision. Moments later, the door exploded inward, revealing Turkin's throne room. The chamber was vast, its high ceilings and walls adorned with trophies from countless conquests. At its center stood Turkin, an imposing figure whose very presence seemed to command the room. His armor, etched with alien glyphs, radiated an aura of menace. In one hand, he held a massive energy blade, its edge crackling with power. "So, you are the ones who dared defy me," Turkin's voice boomed, resonating through the chamber. "I commend your courage, but it ends here." Rios stepped forward, his weapon trained on the Warlord. "You underestimate us, Turkin. This ends today, not for us, but for you." Turkin's lips curled into a sneer. Bold words for a species on the brink of extinction. With a roar, the Warlord charged, his energy blade slicing through the air with deadly precision. Rios and his team scattered, taking cover behind the pillars and statues that lined the room. The final battle had begun. The clash was brutal and unrelenting. Turkin's strength was overwhelming, his blade carving through obstacles with ease. Yet the humans fought with tenacity, exploiting every weakness they could find. Explosives, energy pulses, and coordinated attacks wore down the Warlord's defenses. Despite his power, cracks began to show. "We need to break his focus," Rios shouted. One of his soldiers, a demolitions expert named Jensen, hurled an experimental device at Turkin's feet. The resulting flash and concussive wave momentarily disoriented the Warlord, giving the team a crucial opening. "Now!" Rios yelled, unleashing a barrage of firepower. The blasts struck Turkin's armor, targeting weak points that began to buckle under the onslaught. The Warlord staggered, his imposing figure faltering for the first time. But even wounded, Turkin was far from defeated. With a guttural roar, he launched a counterattack, his blade narrowly missing Rios by inches. The captain rolled to the side, his suit's servos straining under the sudden movement. "Is this all your species has to offer?" Turkin sneered. "Pathetic." Rios gritted his teeth. "We're not done yet." Activating a hidden feature in his suit, Rios unleashed a high-frequency pulse designed to disrupt energy-based weapons. The pulse rippled through the room, and Turkin's blade flickered before collapsing in a cascade of sparks. For the first time, Turkin hesitated, staring at his now useless weapon. Rios didn't waste the opportunity. With the final shot, he aimed for the exposed section of Turkin's armor. The blast struck true, sending the Warlord crashing into his throne. On the surface, Monroe received the signal she had been waiting for. "Turkin is down," came Rios's voice, weary but victorious. Relief washed over her, but she knew the battle wasn't over yet. "Now get out of there," she ordered. As Rios and his team made their escape, the Galactic Council watched the events unfold in stunned silence. Turkin, the Warlord who had terrorized countless worlds, had been defeated by a species they had once dismissed. Humanity had not only survived, but emerged stronger, proving that even the smallest spark could ignite a fire capable of reshaping the galaxy. Earth had won its battle, but the war for its future was just beginning. The aftermath of the conflict rippled through the planet and the galaxy beyond, leaving a trail of questions, fears, and possibilities in its wake. Humanity, battered but unbroken, now stood on the precipice of a new era. Elsewhere on Earth, in the heart of the capital city, Captain Rice and his team were being hailed as heroes. The media had already begun broadcasting their faces across the globe, telling the story of how a single strike team had infiltrated Turkin's flagship and brought the Warlord to his knees. News anchors and reporters described their mission in vivid detail, painting them as symbols of humanity's resilience and courage. But for Rice, glory and recognition were the furthest things from his mind. He sat alone in a quiet corner of the military barracks, the chaos of celebration muffled by the walls. His mind replayed the final moments of the battle with Turkin, the Warlord's sneer, the sheer weight of his blade crashing down, the ferocity of the fight. The fact that they had succeeded still felt surreal, like a dream teetering on the edge of becoming a nightmare. "Hey!" a familiar voice called, breaking through his thoughts. It was Jensen, the demolitions expert who had played a pivotal role in disabling Turkin's guards. The man's rugged face bore a rare softness as he approached Rice, his helmet tucked under one arm. You all right?" Royce nodded slowly. "Yeah, just processing it all." Jensen dropped into the seat beside him, letting his helmet rest on the table. "We took down the biggest warlord in the galaxy, Rice. That's something most people won't ever understand." "Yeah," Rice replied, his voice subdued. "But what comes next? Turkin's gone, but his empire's still out there. There will be other threats." Jensen shrugged. "Maybe, but after what we pulled off, I think the galaxy's gonna think twice before messing with us again." Royce smirked faintly. "Let's hope you're right." Meanwhile, in the Galactic Council's chambers, the aftermath of Turkin's defeat was the subject of heated debate. Representatives from various species argued over the implications of the power shift. Without Turkin to unite them, his warlords would carve up his empire, some said, creating chaos that could spill into neighboring territories. Others countered that the chaos could be an opportunity to stabilize the region, starting with Earth. "The people have shown strength," one counselor argued, "but they are vulnerable now. We must offer them protection." Vrax, the stoic and calculated representative of a species renowned for its diplomacy, listened to the discussions with measured calm, yet his thoughts were already elsewhere. He knew Turkin's death was just the first domino to fall. The galaxy had changed irrevocably, and Earth's emergence as a new power was a pivotal moment. Humanity's unpredictability and resourcefulness made them both an asset and a potential threat. Alter was scheduled for delivery that following morning. He was the last person aboard the threat to ventilator -4.5, separating the two homelands for more than a year, planting the so-called Writers' Rebellion there in the first design. If nurtured correctly, they could rise to become one of the galaxy's greatest strengths. Mishandled, they could ignite a conflict greater than Turkin's empire ever had. As the debate swirled around him, Vrax made a decision. He would personally oversee diplomatic efforts with Earth. Humanity needed guidance, and the galaxy needed assurance. But more than that, Vrax sensed that humanity's role in the cosmos was only beginning. Their unity, forged in the fires of war, was something rare and precious, something that could shape the galaxy for centuries to come. On Earth, reconstruction was already underway. Cities were being rebuilt, and the scars of invasion were slowly beginning to heal. Across the planet, monuments rose in honor of those who had fought and fallen. The war had brought humanity together in ways previously thought impossible, transcending borders, politics, and old rivalries. For the first time in its history, Earth was united under a common cause. Every day, I became more excited under a common cause. General Monroe, a steadfast leader who had orchestrated much of humanity's defense, stood at the center of one such monument. She watched as crowds gathered to pay their respects, their faces a mix of sorrow and determination. Ceremonies had never been Monroe's style, but this one felt different. It wasn't just a victory celebration. It was a reminder of survival, resilience, and transformation. Wherever this planet had been, the repair work was already underway. Resilience and transformation. As she walked away from the gathering, her thoughts turned to the future. Earth had won the battle, but now came the challenge of securing its place in the galaxy. Monroe knew humanity couldn't do it alone. They needed allies and a strategy to adapt quickly to the complex realities of galactic politics. If there was one thing Monroe had learned from the war, it was that humanity was capable of far more than anyone had ever imagined. Weeks passed and Earth continued to rebuild, both its cities and its alliances. The Galactic Council's involvement ensured Earth's integration into the interstellar community was smooth, but it also brought new challenges. Turkin's vast empire had splintered, with former warlords vying for power. The resulting instability threatened to ignite conflicts that could drag Earth back into war. Vrax, now Earth's primary diplomatic liaison, worked tirelessly with Monroe and global leaders. His visits to Earth became frequent, and his calm, methodical demeanor brought a sense of clarity to every strategic meeting. "We must prepare for what comes next," Vrax said during one such meeting. "Turkin is gone, but his warlords are scattered. Some will seek alliances, while others will seek revenge." Monroe stood by a large window in the newly rebuilt command center, overlooking the capital's skyline. The city still bore the marks of battle, but its resilience was unmistakable. She turned to Vrax, her gaze sharp. "What do you suggest?" "We need to consolidate Earth's new position," Vrax replied. "The Council sees great potential in your people, but to secure your place, you'll need allies beyond the Council. There are factions out there who fear what Turkin represented. They will look to Earth for leadership." Monroe nodded, her expression resolute. "We can't let this opportunity slip by. Earth's survival isn't just about defense anymore. It's about ensuring we're never in that position again." Beyond Earth's atmosphere, the galaxy was watching. Turkin's warlords had begun to regroup, with whispers of retaliation growing louder. Among them, a new leader emerged, Dren, one of Turkin's most ruthless generals. Clad in battle-scarred armor, Dren's fury burned brighter than any star. He had served Turkin loyally and saw humanity's victory as an unforgivable insult. On a barren planet far from trade routes, Dren convened with other warlords in a shadowy chamber. His voice thundered as he slammed a gauntleted fist onto the table. "We will strike back! Turk's death must be avenged, and Earth will pay for its arrogance." "Arrogance is hell," the Old One called, before rising to his feet. "For Earth will pay for its arrogance." The warlords murmured in agreement, though hesitation lingered in their eyes. "The humans are not like the other species we've conquered," one cautioned. "Their unpredictability makes them dangerous." Dren sneered. "That is why we will not face them head-on. We will strike where they are weakest. Earth is still rebuilding. We will exploit their vulnerabilities and crush them when the time is right." Back on Earth, intelligence reports of Dren's movements began to trickle in. General Monroe and Captain Rice, now hailed as Earth's greatest heroes, were called upon once more. "We've beaten Turkin," Monroe said during a briefing, "but Dren is different. He won't make the same mistakes. He'll come at us from the shadows." Royce nodded. "Then we need to take the fight to him. Waiting for him to strike first isn't an option." A new strategy was devised. With advanced reconnaissance technology from their allies, Earth's forces pinpointed Dren's hidden bases. The operation was swift and decisive. Captain Rice led the assault, his team once again at the forefront. The final confrontation was fierce, but Earth's forces, hardened by their experiences, prevailed. Dren, defiant until the end, fell in battle, his ambitions shattered. In the aftermath, the Galactic Council formally recognized Earth as a central power in the galaxy. Humanity, once isolated and underestimated, had proven its worth. General Monroe, Captain Rice, and their teams were celebrated, but for them, the victory was about more than recognition. It was about securing Earth's future. In a ceremony beneath the same skies once filled with enemy ships, Monroe addressed the planet and its allies. "We've shown the galaxy what humanity is capable of. When we stand together, there's nothing we can't overcome." As the stars lit up the evening sky, Earth stood united, ready to rise even higher. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more.